WELSTech is a bi-weekly podcast exploring the intersections of technology and ministry. It is part of the podcast network sponsored by WELS, the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod. Our show today is hosted by Martin Spriggs and Sally Draper. Welcome back to WELSTech, everybody. This is episode 756, and we are recording on August 7th, 2025. My name is Martin Spriggs, and this is a show about technology and ministry and where those two intersect. And joining me, as usual, Sally Draper. Hello, Sally Draper.
Hi, Martin. Happy to be joining you today. You are post-convention. How was that? I don't know which one it was, 57th annual biannual convention, whatever number it was.
I don't remember. I don't even remember how many I've been to. I haven't been to all 57, but I've been to a lot. But this was good. It was very warm in New Ulm, Minnesota, the week we were there. So this would have been 2 weeks ago. But nothing too earth-shattering. It was nice to hear again our new strategic plan. So over the next 10 years, we'll be rolling that out and following that. And that was adopted. We adopted a new budget. And by and large, it was just kind of a celebration of God's work in our church body. So it was good. We camped. So that was a little bit different. Flandreau State Park is kind of like right in the heart of New Ulm, right up there. You could walk to campus from there if you really wanted to. But that was hot and buggy, but it was okay. Saved a little money. We like to camp over the summer whenever we can. This camping season here in Wisconsin is not all that long, or in Minnesota too, I suppose. So we kind of combined it with another vacation, and we had a good time.
So my techie mind wants to know if there were any particular tech triumphs at Synod Convention.
Funny you should ask. We rolled out a new voting system.
Woohoo!
So we purchased, if I understand it correctly, it's the same system, at least the software. I don't know if it's the same hardware, but similar, that the House of Representatives uses. So it was basically a credit card size calculator looking thing with 10 buttons on it and a display, and it was super simple. So all of the delegates had one in their hands and were able to vote, and we used them rigorously, at least over the first day and a half. And we elected a new first vice president, a new second vice president, a new secretary, and all kinds of ministry positions too. So went well. Very good.
No major hiccups there, huh?
No major ones.
Awesome.
It was all kind of an internal RF kind of solution. So it wasn't internet-based, so we didn't really have to rely on Wi-Fi. So I think that takes that thing out of the equation. And if there are any districts or other major conferences that do voting that maybe want to rent it, probably could be had at a fairly reasonable price. So just get in touch with me.
Oh, that's awesome, Martin. I'm glad. I'm sure everyone had tears when they realized they didn't have to do Scantron forms anymore.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done those in quite a while.
Okay.
But we certainly didn't have to go back to pen and paper or other solutions that were not quite as user friendly. So no, that was a tech win as far as I was concerned.
For sure.
Yeah.
I am quite impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! Welcome to the 21st century, huh?
Right. Took us a while, but we got
Just
there.
like the House of Representatives. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. How's your summer going?
Well, it's going fast. It's August already. This is our next to the last summer series podcast, and everything is hunky-dory over here in North Mankato.
Yeah. So we're at episode 756, and over the summer we have been kind of looking at just little tips and tricks that different people have written, Concordia Technology Solutions, and today's tip or list of tips or SMART goals in this case is Grace Ungemach's newsletter. That's Lutheran.marketing. She calls this particular email that she sent out We'll have a link in the show notes. 10 smart goals for church marketing. And sometimes people get a little uptight when we use the word church marketing, but apply whatever term you want. Promotion, PR, the way
Outreach.
you advertise that you exist and that you've got good things that you want people to come and hear about. So that's what we're talking about here. 10 smart goals for church marketing. And Grace does a nice job with this email. She keeps it really nice and tidy, and it's a quick read. And she focuses on things like email and advertising and search engine optimization and social media, those kinds of things. So it's kind of a good newsletter to subscribe to. She does a nice job and she releases them regularly. So we picked this one up and thought, hey, let's talk about that this week.
Yeah, so maybe a great place to start is with that acronym SMART. And
Mm-hmm.
again, not to be offensive, Grace actually says um, setting SMART goals and remaining true to your mission are not mutually exclusive. So we're not trying to meet
Mm-hmm.
quotas or whatever, like a salesman, but we do want to know that our efforts are being received and not going to waste or whatever as we try to reach out. I
Yeah.
looked up the origin of SMART. I've heard it kind of throughout my career, and it goes all the way back to 1981, a paper written by George Doran titled There's a Smart Way to Write Management's Goals and Objectives. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so, in other words, you put some numeric criteria most of the time
Mhm.
to we're going to try this for X number of weeks, or we're going to hope for X number of responses to this email or whatever. And by doing that, you at least have something to measure against, which is that that measurable aspect of it. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a great way to look at these different goals.
Hmm. Yeah, and just a little bit of background about Grace. You can read about her on her website, but she's a pastor's wife, so she's in frontline ministry and has a marketing background, and has decided to help out congregations, schools figure out these kinds of things, how to think about promotion and getting the word out. So let's go through the 10, Sally.
Sure. First up, she has have 1 to 3 avatars that encapsulate your community, fleshed out and written down by the end of quarter 3. So there's that measurable component. You want 1 to 3 of these. You want them to be specifically this way, and you want it by the end of quarter 3. Why do
Hmm.
you need avatars? Avatars are like who you're doing this for. It's a
Personas is
representation.
another word you could
Yeah.
use there too, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
What kind of family details, what social economic status do they have? Where do they live? What are their hobbies? What are they spending their
Hmm.
disposable income on? Who are
Who are
these
you
people?
talking to? Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm. Good. Yeah, it
So,
takes, and that's easier said than done. It takes a little bit of thinking. I think if you got your leadership together and you asked, they might struggle a little bit, determining who maybe these top three are that are our the market that we're trying to reach here. So I think that's a good place to start. Very difficult to communicate with somebody that you really haven't identified or know what kind of the way they think, how decisions are made, like she mentions here. So good.
yeah, I'm thinking if you were giving a speech to a convention of people or whatever it may be, a small group, you want your speech to be relevant to them. You want to know who
Hmm.
they are. And this is the exact same concept. You're putting an invitation out to
Know your
your
audience.
fall,
Hmm.
activity or whatever. Who are the people that you're wanting to
Yeah.
reach?
And
So,
you should do that before you do really any kind of outreach activity or any kind of communication activity, whether that be over social media or building a website or even writing an email. So
mhm.
good. Number two is increase my rank in Google search by 10% by Q4 is her suggested SMART goal. And that becomes easier than ever. If you've got a website, it's likely hooked up to Google Analytics, and there's a Google Search Console where you can determine your average rank. And sometimes that is based on search terms. You can see all kinds of traffic data She talks about sprucing up your Google My Business profile. I think that was a previous tip
Mhm.
that she had shared. So it's important to kind of pay attention to if people and how people are finding your content. And Google provides some pretty easy tools, webmastery type tools that'll help you do that.
And you don't have to get super deep. Just
Mm-mm.
grab some of those high level analytics and then come back a month later and take another look and see if they've changed any, if they've improved any, maybe with your Google My Business tweaks or whatever.
Yep. Number three, Sally.
Yeah, during Q3, increased my shares on Instagram by 20% over Q2. So, Instagram is actually owned by the same parent company as Facebook. It's called Meta, and Meta has a business suite. It's quite easy to jump in there and take a look again at different analytics and things. And so, maybe you write down what your numbers are currently, and you come back a month later and look at your Instagram numbers again.
Yeah.
Um, I,
She makes a
Grace.
great point there at the bottom there. I don't know if you saw that. She says, I don't really care about the posts that are viewed or liked the most. The biggest impact occurs when posts are shared. And then she has a link there for how she breaks down the math. But that's a great point. The fact that people are viewing it or are liking really doesn't have much impact. I mean, you want obviously people to view it because they can't view it, they can't share it unless they view it. But
Right.
getting the word out and networking and expanding the reach is really important. And that suggests maybe how you post or what you post too. Is it
Exactly.
shareable, right?
Yeah. Look at what got shared the most last quarter and do a little
Mm-hmm.
brainstorming around that and do things the way that one was done so that you can, you know, double down on all that good sharing that's happening.
Yeah, she stays in that social media space with the next one. Increase my Facebook event RSVPs by 25% over last year. And I'm not even sure a lot of our congregations and schools and organizations use Facebook events, but that is an easy way to get the word out. And if you're not in the habit of doing that, maybe something that you take a look at, because Facebook events can be online, they can be in person, they can be all kinds of things.
And what's cool about it, Martin, is if someone responds, I'm going to this, Facebook kind of makes that public as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at the event, I
Free
can see who's
advertising.
going. It posts kind of to their friend group and everything that they're going. If I look at events in general, it tells me these people are going to these events in my area. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that's expanding that shared reach, even without having to click a share button, just by getting people to respond. So cool
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Shifting over to email during quarter 3, increased my email open rate by 15% over quarter 2. That's the fifth idea that Grace shared in her newsletter. So again, looking at email open rates and different email providers give that to you in different ways. I think we use SendGrid right now from the Senate. I might be wrong about that, but I do know.
Well, we're just switching to
Okay.
HubSpot. So that does a great job at giving us click rates and open rates.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So we'll be able to know if that kind of thing is increasing over time.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy because there are other tools out there, MailChimp and, Constant Contact, those kinds of things give you all that data too. So it's important to kind of be smart and do an analyzation to
Analysis.
analysis. Yes. Do an analysis
There you
of
go. Or
of your
analyzation.
emails because they some are better than others.
Right.
So,
Just a quick mention, Grace recommends Kit if you don't have an email service
oh
provider
yeah,
yet.
that's what she uses. Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with that one, but
I'm not
probably
either.
worth looking into.
Okay. So we've reached the halfway point. Let's get through the bottom six or bottom five here, starting with number 6. Lengthen Christmas Eve promotional timeline by 3 weeks. And this really speaks to something we've talked about in the past with good project management practices. Get more ahead of the ball or the game as you're getting these events together. Don't start promoting a couple weeks in advance, or get your planning game in shape so that maybe you're starting to think about all this stuff in the summer for these fall and winter activities, especially if they have a big promotional component. So move those timelines back, get people together, start talking about promotional strategies for getting the word out. So people have busy schedules, so it's important to get on their calendars and on their radar as soon as possible.
Well, speaking of quantifying things, putting some numbers to it, I think there's actually numbers that say you tell someone and you tell them again and you tell them again, and by about the fifth time it registers with them or whatever. So giving yourself that extra 3 weeks gives you more runway, is a term that Grace uses. So you have more chance to get that event off the ground if you have a longer time period where you're telling people about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Grace recommends also sending weekly value filled emails to your prospect list, perhaps adopting that methodology in Q4.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you aren't doing it weekly, or if weekly sounds daunting to you, just try to do it for 1 quarter. That's just 13 emails. Get a group together and come up with ideas of what people on your prospect list would find valuable in that busy time of year, and then be consistent with delivering those emails throughout Q4.
Yep. Number 8, run a 5-week internal campaign teaching members how to use our digital tools to share our church with others. I love this one.
Mhm.
Teach them how to fish. Give them the encouragement, of course, but also say, this is how you could do this. Here's some shareable material. Did you know you could do this on Instagram or Facebook or whatever? So pretty cool. I like that one.
And just to be sure we're not talking all digital, she says both in person and online, so
Mm-hmm.
that you're equipping them for in person outreach as well.
Yep.
Number 9 on the list, complete a video course on how to set up a YouTube ad and run one by the end of Q4. And she even includes a link to a suggested tutorial from YouTube. So that is something I personally don't have any experience with, running ads on YouTube, but
Mm-mm.
I sure do see a lot of them because YouTube's my go-to place to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And why not include some advertising? It's kind of funny. I'm really into the craft circles with following different crafters and learning from them and that kind of thing. And every once in a while, I'll get an advertisement related to something they're doing. It's not super often that people
Mm-hmm.
are doing those YouTube ads, but from that circle at least. And I would say it's not super often that people are doing it from our church circles either, or with outreach in
Mm-hmm.
mind. So that's a great audience to take advantage of.
I have to say, I do not see YouTube ads. I
Oh, you
pay
pay the
for
premium.
YouTube Premium. Yeah. And they just
Sure.
came out with a lower cost one. I think it's like $10 or something like that. But to me, that's well worth it. I don't know if I could go back to the ads. But if you got to see ads, you might as well be sharing some good stuff there. So,
I have to laugh because I was actually watching a video podcast last night on YouTube, and it had ads interrupting, and they were pretty often, and that was frustrating, but you have to sit through 20 seconds or however long before
mm-hmm.
you can skip and get back to the podcast. But this podcast was actually a sponsored one. So they had their own ads that they were inserting. So they'd
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, we're going to take a break from the podcast and we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. And it's the best night's sleep I ever got, and all this kind of stuff. And so not only are you getting YouTube ads, but you're getting internal ads that are
Get the
built into the
YouTube
podcast.
ads, their internal ads. Yes.
So you're welcome, WELSTech listeners and watchers, that we don't have
No
pauses for ads.
ads. No
So,
ads. Yes.
yeah.
Sally, what's the last one Grace
Let's
brings to
see.
the
Number
table
10 on the
here?
list. Set up SMS messages and enroll 20 people in my first workflow by the end of Q4. So, just to translate that a little bit, obviously, SMS messages, most people know as texting. And then a workflow maybe is that this is a first time visitor or whatever. They just signed up for texting from our congregation, and we're going to send them three texts to introduce them to the service or whatever. That would be a workflow. And
Mhm.
text in church apparently makes it very easy to do that. So they
Mhm.
have a launch method, and you can text a keyword to a number and be added to the list, and it's not difficult to set up according to Grace. So if you're
Mhm.
looking to get into that area, maybe that's your smart goal for Q4, is just to get text messaging set up and get some people enrolled.
Yeah. So if you have Church 360 from Concordia Technology Solutions, you have texting already in your plan because it comes included.
Oh,
So that's something to take a look at too. If you want to get into SMS messaging, you've already got it if you've got that service. So,
very good.
all right. Thanks, Grace, for letting us share your stuff. And we will put a plug in for her work. She not only provides these tips and tricks, but she does work with congregations and schools. And she's also put together a group of people who could act as a resource for your congregation or school as well. So she's done some training with different folks and can make their contact information available too. If you're looking for just a little bit of help on some of these things, she's got something for you. So that is
And if you aren't
Lutheran
getting
dot
her, I'm
marketing.
sorry, if you aren't getting her Friday newsletter, definitely sign up for
Oh
that.
yeah, super easy. So,
Hmm.
all right. That is our little slice of sunshine for this episode.
No more
Sally,
sunshine. We're turning it off now.
yeah, we'll see what we can
No.
do. Let's move to our picks of the week.
Sure. And I think I will jump right in. And believe it or not, I have a hardware pick this week, Martin. That's not a
That's
common
normally
thing
my
for
job.
me. That's right. We
Hmm.
usually rely on that heavy lifting from you. But I have been doing a lot of crafting, and just recently we attended or presented at our first craft fair. We had a booth, and because we were there, we actually needed to take payment if people wanted to buy something from us. And so we had the experience of setting up payment processing. Now, why does that relate to churches and schools? Well, a week or two ago, I got an email from a friend in Sleepy Eye, and they do an annual community event called Pumpkin Palooza, I believe, where they just invite the community to come on their property. They have games and apple pies and lots of pumpkins, and they do some things for sale at this event, crafts, all kinds of things. And so they were looking for a way to process credit cards at their Pumpkin Palooza event. And you too may be looking for a way to process credit cards. So I'm going to tell you what I landed on and how easy and affordable it was. So my pick of the week is actually a little device. I don't know if you can see it in the video for those that are watching, but it's
Hmm.
about 2 inches square. And the reason it's square is because it comes from a company called Square.
Square.
Yeah, and they've been a player in payment processing for a very long time. I actually had a Square device. I probably mentioned it on the show maybe 10 years ago or something. So they have
Hmm.
one that just plugs right into your phone jack, like your power
Hmm.
jack, and you can slide credit cards with it. So you can do the magnetic strip thing with it. This one is actually one of their many hardware products, and you've probably used some of their products in different stores where they have registers and kiosk type stands where you can sign your name with your fingertip and things like that. But the reader is definitely on the low end of that. Um, and I just lost my link. I hovered and didn't click. And it allows for contactless secure payments. So people can either tap their phone or their credit card on the reader. And then it also allows them to insert, if they have a chip card and they need to insert their card instead of tap if they don't have that ability. The price point is really impressive. It's only, I think they advertise it for $56 or $59. Yeah, $59. They charge 2.6% of your processed card amount plus 15 cents per in-person payment, which is very reasonable. And they actually pay out the very next day, which was pretty amazing to me. set up in a lot of different ways to get payments through Etsy and things like that. And it can be a week or 2 weeks or something before you receive your payout, depending on different companies' standards. I actually bought mine on Amazon, and instead of paying the $59, that's the normal price there, I got it for less than 50. Right now it's on sale for $47.99. And what's cool about it is a Bluetooth device, so it interfaces with your phone. You set up your account with Square and have your inventory and things on your phone, and then it is ready to take payment whenever you press checkout. So quick and easy to set up, quick and easy to use, worked perfectly, flawlessly for us in the transactions we've processed already. I'm sure a lot of their other devices are wonderful to work with as well, but this one fit my price point. I'm not going to use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and $50 seemed very reasonable to be able to do that. And I would think the same for congregations who are looking
Mm-hmm.
to
Or
have events.
schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for concessions, good for logo wear you want to sell,
There you go.
admission. That's all great use cases. Yeah, I
Mhm.
heard on the radio the other day, maybe it was a podcast, I don't remember, but the explosion of farmers markets in our
Mm,
country. They are just everywhere. So you see, if you ever go to one of those, you see these all over the place. And I was trying
mm-hmm.
to think, well, how can our ministries take advantage of that? But I'm sure a lot of our members have, maybe a booth at a farmer's
Yep,
market, maybe an opportunity to drop in a little church brochure or something that
that's a great
business
idea.
card that you can kind of promote not just your own business, but the Lord's business. So,
Yeah, it's sweet corn time here in
oh,
Minnesota, and
yeah.
we have a member who has a farm and is putting their sweet corn out there. So definitely happening.
Yeah.
Good
What
idea.
was the name of the festival in Sleepy Eye?
Buttered corn days. That is no
Buttercord. Yeah.
more. Sleepy Eye
No
lost.
kidding.
They lost their Del Monte plant, so they aren't doing buttered
Oh,
corn days, but they
no.
replaced it with something else. I can't remember what it's called now, but
Okay.
there isn't a vat full of free buttered corn available to every person that shows up at the event this year, because it was always Del Monte that sponsored
Right.
that and provided the corn
Okay.
and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay.
unfortunately.
All right. My pick of the week, very simple one. Those of you that are Trello users might be interested to know that they've been hard at work making some improvements to their product. And one of the very simple things they probably should have had a long time ago is a feature called Trello Inbox. You know how Trello works. You open up a board and you add cards and you can assign people and have comments and attach files and put them on different lists and move the cards around. But what this is kind of a unified inbox where it allows you to capture, organize, and really kind of track your to-dos. It's specifically for to-dos. So you could manage your to-dos right in it, but then also if it's something you just need to get into your system, and you don't want to have to kind of go through the mental energy of finding the right board and the right list, the inbox is a great tool just to get your stuff in there and then sort it out later. So it connects with things like Teams and Slack. It's got a feature where you can email emails to it so they can become cards in your system. And then that inbox kind of floats on top of all your boards. So it's a unified inbox. It's not per board. It just kind of sits out there by itself to the side. And as you are processing your inbox, you can open up the right board and then slide that card over, and you're able to make this kind of a nice productivity piece of your Trello usage. So they've got a number of new things that have come out, but this one is super simple. You can try it for free. It's got a lot of usefulness, and it basically, if you know how to use Trello, you know how to use this. It's just kind of a separate place for these cards that are awaiting either activity or moving on to a more permanent board. So that's the Trello inbox. Trello.com/inbox will get you more information.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Trello is a real winner with WellsTech, because we've been
Mm-hmm.
talking about it a long time, and it's not something we've abandoned and moved on to the next shiny thing.
Right.
And I'd say we've done that with a
We've
lot
been
of
at
other
it a long
things, but
time. Yeah.
we've
Hmm.
we've really invested in Trello at the Synod level and continue to see its growth and
Just kind of the
usefulness.
simplicity of it, but also you can go real deep if you want to. It's got a
Hmm.
whole plug-in architecture that gets you, you know, however deep you want to go with it. So good stuff.
For
All
sure.
right, Sally, let's close out this show with community feedback.
Sure. And just wanted to point out a couple of things picked up from our friends on Wells Intersections, which is a Facebook group. It's got a group of great moderators, and there's always good discussion there. Someone
Hmm.
recently shared this church communication guide. It's from a congregation in Fort Wayne, Indiana, called Brookside, brookside.org. They have a very extensive church communication guide where it says they talk about style, values, best practices, policies, forms, and tips, including links to branding and email signature as well. So um, they cover it all. And I think it's just eye opening to read through here and think about all the different things that we should be considering as we communicate as a church. And maybe we don't agree with everything they have or feel it needs to be as extensive, but it's definitely worth a brainstorming session around
Oh,
what
for
you can
sure. This
find
is
here.
this is awesome.
It is amazing. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, if you don't have a communications team, then please share this with your pastors and church office and form that communication team and give them this as an exercise to read through and consider um, all kinds of aspects like um, using phone numbers, how to format them consistently
Hmm.
across the whole website, putting in links and don't use the word click or click here, but make
Hmm.
the subject a link or whatever. It just goes on and on.
Social media policy. Yeah.
Proper spelling and capitalization of different aspects of their ministry, um, text in church policy, branding, design, print policies,
This is
really
so cool. I
extensive.
love this.
And then here's where we get into the brand guide with taglines and mission statements and tone of voice, their
Yeah.
logo, what it means. Um,
This is kind of an important thing, especially you don't have to be a big church or big organization to take advantage of this because the smaller ones, you still have a number of people writing stuff. So you have people writing
mhm.
newsletter articles, you have people writing bulletin inserts, you have people writing text for on-screen viewing, emails, newsletters, those kinds of things. So in our church, we have we have two churches. We have the old church, which is at the back of the new church, and they kind
Two
of go
church
different
buildings.
directions. Yeah, well, they're connected. So they
Okay.
added on to the old church, and they made the old church kind of this upper room. So some people call it the upper room, and some people call it the old church.
Ah,
So that kind of standardization, and nobody quite knows what it is that you're always referring to. Or sometimes it's the narthex, sometimes it's the gathering space or the entryway or whatever. This kind of communications tool could clarify that and say, whenever you refer to this space, this is how you do it. So I love this.
and man, it's hard to do sometimes. I just got to the footer of brookside.org's communications, and I can see that their phone
They
numbers.
don't follow their phone number
Right.
formatting.
And I wonder if maybe that's like a web templated thing or something that their website provider
Yeah.
does or whatever. But it's really hard to pull this off perfectly. It's just
Yeah.
kind of funny that I'd pointed out the phone number format with hyphens only and they're in parentheses. So there
That's
you go.
hilarious. Yes.
So write it
This
down.
is hard stuff, but it's worth the time. So yeah,
Hmm.
take a look at this communications guide.
Yeah, really
It's
impressive.
amazing that they make this public. I mean, this is just for anybody to read. So
Yeah,
that's nice that they
yeah.
do that.
Thanks, whoever on Wells Intersections. I didn't look up the source of who posted it, but this was an excellent find for sure.
Hmm.
Another excellent find I want to make mention of is from our friends at the ELS, and they've done a video series called Do You Have a Pastor, where they walk through. Each video is less than a minute and a half, I want to say, but a pastor is like, pillars of health, hope, educated, just kind of different components of considering why someone might want to have a pastor, just like they have a physician or a mechanic is kind of their initial premise of the video series. A pastor is like a doctor. My pastor is, where you're getting a little bit of a testimonial type, who my pastor
Hmm.
is, that they come to you with guidance and an ear and different things that you can rely on a pastor
Nicely
for.
done. Yeah.
It is very nicely done. I would encourage you maybe to use these as little snippets at the beginning of Bible class and string it out over a period of time, even if you aren't sharing the videos yourself. Um, Equipping your people with this kind of language to share when they have the opportunity. Oh, my pastor might be a great person for you to reach out to in that circumstance or whatever it is. You can also reach out to the ELS and get permission to use these videos. According to the ELS member who posted these in Wells Intersections, Holly Wells, you can click on this download video and posting guide. And if you reach out to the proper people at ELS, and I'm sure just a connection to their Synod, general um, contact information. It's through their home missions area, I understand. They'll give you that password to make use of these as a Wells congregation. But
Hmm.
even if you don't go that far, even if you just use them within your own circles, or if you use it as a springboard to some video series that you want to create at your church, I think
Hmm.
these are really well done and give you a real insight, maybe kind of circling back to the very beginning of the podcast, to those avatars that you're trying to reach and what kind of things they're struggling with or needing answers to, and how your pastor might be a great contact person to share with them. So
Hmm.
check out the video series. I watched them all. It took maybe 10 minutes at the most to watch them all, and just great food for thought, if nothing
Good
else.
content. Yeah. Nicely
Mhm.
done too.
Yes.
Um, Sally, that is going to about do it for this week. And I'm looking at the next time we meet, kind of sad. We'll be ending our summer series, but we begin the school year, and hopefully we'll have Jason and Rachel back joining us for educational topics. And who knows what the new church and WELSTech podcast year will hold. But yes,
I know it'll hold some AI discussions. I just bet
you
you.
think so?
I think
Okay.
so. Don't think we're
Yep.
done talking about it.
Just had our first Wells AI task force meeting
Excellent.
earlier this week. So, good group of people got together to talk about well, where does AI fit in Wells ministry. So, look for more information on that to come.
Good.
Sally, that's going to about do it. Thanks everybody for joining us. As usual, we love to have you tune in and contribute to the show. Go to wellstech.wells.net for all the show notes, all 750 some odd. And you can contribute there by leaving a comment or send us an email, wellstech@wells.net. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.